Hello everyone! I recently received the very bad news that you can finally get caught trying to date the entire town. So that means my career is effectively over. But that's not going to stop me from trying. So we're going to find out just what kind of trouble mums can get in today. Let's see how long it takes to get busted. Before we get to that, we're going to need a clean slate. There can never be enough doves in this world. And it turns out I've already wiped everyone's memories, so we're good to go. Now as far as marriage candidates go, on the male side we have Drinky, Bitey, Stupid, Sam, Righty, and Boring. And for the females we have Artsy, Crazy, Bookie, Weirdo, Goggles, and Idiot Stick. Now you can only actually marry one person at a time, but you can date any of them and all of them. Before, the only repercussion of doing so was you'd occasionally get caught giving a gift to one of the people and making your spouse jealous. But I understand things have changed a little. Now in order to get everyone up to a dateable level, you need to get them to 8 hearts, which is the maximum hearts until you give them a bouquet of flowers, and then things get serious at that point. The best way to get there is give everyone their favorite gifts. Alex likes a complete breakfast. For some reason, Elliot really likes pomegranates. Harvey gets it, he loves coffee. Sam's all about that pizza. Sebastian likes blood, but he's gonna have to settle for sashimi. And shockingly, Shane likes beer because it really makes his life better. Abigail likes a gem that matches her hair. Emily likes wool, fresh off the sheep. Haley likes coconuts because she finds them relatable. Leah likes salads because she's one of those. Maru likes battery packs and I don't know why. And Penny loves melons because everyone loves melons. Now like I said, it's no big deal to give everyone these gifts they love. It will increase their heart rate quite rapidly until they get all the way up to 8 hearts. And we'll pretend we've done this every day for quite a while. So currently, we have everyone in town at 8 hearts. The people with the single under their name obviously are the ones we can date. Everyone is still single. Once you give them the bouquet of flowers, it unlocks their final 2 hearts, at which they turn into your girlfriend or boyfriend. And I suspect that is what triggers the cutscene. So tomorrow, I gotta go give everyone in town a bunch of bouquets of flowers, then we'll see what happens. I need you to be my girlfriend. Here, hold this. Can you give this to your sister for me? Bad news for you. One day you will be mine. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a whole bunch of boyfriends and girlfriends. Robin's still at the top of the list for some reason, but aside from her, everyone that is dateable is currently a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Every single possibility is covered. I'm not sure when or where this cutscene triggers, but I'm going to sleep on it because I don't want to lose today's progress. And I suspect simply the fact that I'm now dating everyone is enough to trigger this. I'm thinking it's probably at the saloon. That's kind of the impression I've been getting. So I'm going to wait till tonight. We're going to go to the saloon and see what happens. Also, didn't I already take care of this thing? Why is it still here? Failure number 1. I think they need to be at 10 hearts. We're going to boost it, try it again tomorrow. Alright, now I think we're getting somewhere. Hey look, all of you guys all in the same room. That's convenient. Yeah, I definitely would have to go at that point. Stroke, heart attack, anything to get me out. Never thought you'd find all your boyfriends in one room, huh, Mumps? I'm just glad the girlfriends aren't here too. This could be twice as bad. You tricked all of us into thinking we loved you. Well, I didn't trick you. You do love me. That's why it hurts so much. The last shred of hope I had left is completely destroyed. Thanks, Mumps. Are you happy now? Getting there. I gotta do the girls first, but we'll get there. Mumps, I thought you were one of a kind, but you were just using me. Boy, was I. Getting away with it, too. For once, I'm at a loss for words. Yeah, how's that book coming along? Well, we're not gonna put up with your abuse any longer. Wanna bet? I can erase your memories. I own you. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? I never liked you anyway. Obviously, I'm not sorry. Guys, calm down. I can explain. I can talk my way out of anything. More choices. All right. We could go with you were all too pushy with me. You made it difficult to say no. Pierre pressured me. He wanted to sell more bouquets or start crying. I'm going to blame it on Pierre. That's always the right move. Blame it on someone else. Don't blame others for your mistakes. You're just losing more respect with us. Oh no. Whatever will I do? I think we've come to a decision. Isn't that right, boys? You're going to date each other from now on? Yes. Absolutely. Alright, well, can I leave now? You're taking up my valuable time. We're all leaving you. Yeah, I kinda got that feeling. So that was dumped by 5 people all at once. That's a new record for me. I'm impressed. I feel like this should go equally as well. Hey ladies, how's it going? You should go check out the saloon right now. Big party going on. Never thought you'd find all your girlfriends in one room, huh, Mumps? Well, the town's pretty small, so it's not that surprising. I just didn't really care that much. I thought you were different than other men. I am. I'm much worse. How could you do this to us, Mumps? For my own personal benefit. You think you're real smooth, don't you? Thought you'd sample the whole buffet, huh? What a sleaze. To be honest, I value food a lot more than I value you. That night in a tent, you whispered such sweet things to me in the dark. And why do you think I did that? Now I have to face each day knowing it was all a lie. And that makes me feel better. Well, us women stick together. We're not going to put up with this. Yeah, self-respect, blah blah blah, same thing I just went through with the other half of the town. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? Ladies, calm down, I can explain. This time, I got this. Ladies, this is completely normal. It's just a lifestyle choice. It's a lifestyle I choose to live. I don't know what's considered normal in Zuzu City, but I'm definitely not okay with this arrangement. Well, now you tell me, it's kinda late. It's not a choice if none of us even know about it, you jerk. Yes, it is, it's a choice for me. You can't weasel your way out of this one, Mumps. Wanna bet? I think we've come to a decision. Isn't that right, girls? Yep, big surprise here. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Leah can talk too. Who'd have known? We're all leaving you. Outstanding. Back to the bachelor life. And that's it. I believe that's a dozen people dumping me all in one single day. Pretty sure I've done completely the opposite though, so that's not so bad. Interestingly enough, their relationships just revert back down to 8 hearts without the dating thing. And how do they feel about that? She just has nothing to say. That's probably all for the best. She's never been the brightest at the best of times. I can't bear to see you. Well, is this helping? How's the buzz this afternoon? Shane has a glazed look in his eyes. He won't speak to you. Oh, maybe he actually is buzzed. Sam? 1 sec, I gotta beat this level. Oh, Sam doesn't even care. He gets it. You're not worth my time. Neither are books, apparently. He said it. It's nice of you to visit. He can't take that back. Go away. I can't bear to see you. Well, then maybe you shouldn't let me walk into your house constantly. Well, now what do I do? Today we're going to be talking about the greenhouse, because as some of you may or may not know, it is probably the best way to make money with the least amount of effort, at least once it's set up and going. And I'm going to show you how to do just that, and also what to put in it once it's up and going. Now, when you start the game, this is all you've got to work with, minus the flower pots, and the dog is optional. So before you get it up and running, which is something you want to try and do before the first winter, not easily done, but it can be. That way you can have crops all winter long. You're going to want to go ahead and check out the community center, because it's up to the new farmer to fix it up rather than all the other people in town with established jobs and careers. The bundle we need to complete to unlock the greenhouse is the pantry, and you unlock the pantry simply by finishing any one of these. Obviously, it's probably going to be the spring foraging bundle, because as soon as you start, you can finish it. All you need are these things, which grow all around the map. Just wander around and you'll find them. If you don't, there's not something wrong with the game, there's probably something wrong with you. Upon completing this work of art, you'll get the bundle complete, you'll get some wild seeds, things will update. Reward, wild seeds, spring seeds. These are actually pretty valuable in themselves. Even just to sell this box is 1,000 gold. Keep that in mind if you don't feel like planting more stuff. Then we get the cutscene, which unlocks the pantry. This is what you want to finish to unlock the greenhouse. Not super easy and quick to do, but it can be done. And diving into this, to unlock the greenhouse, there is quite a bit you have to do first. There are 6 bundles entirely to themselves. Fortunately, they are mostly crops bundles. So just pay attention to what you need. So in the spring, all you need is one of all of these things. That's easy. Same with the other seasons, except for the quality crops. That's when you got to pay attention to. So when you start, make sure you get 5 gold parsnips. In summer, gold melons, gold pumpkins, gold corn. Most of these are probably going to happen anyway. You tend to plant a lot of parsnips in spring. Melons are a valuable crop for summer. I plant them all the time. Same with pumpkins for fall. Those are probably going to happen because they can be giant. The corn is actually kind of useless in my opinion, but grow some anyway if you want to finish this. But then we get into some of the more difficult ones. The animal bundle. This is what it looks like. Ignore the ones on the bottom. That's for a butcher mod. Those are entirely different. This would actually make it a lot easier, but it would be cheating and console players can't do it. This one, not super easy to finish, but can be done. Get a coop for a duck, it will give you a duck egg. Get a chicken, it will give you eggs, large eggs eventually. Then, build the barn. You get a cow for milk, eventually large milk, and same thing with a goat for large goat milk. All you need is 5 of those items. These ones take a little bit of effort, but they're pretty much guaranteed as long as you get the animals, they will produce you those at some point. The artisan bundle is probably the hardest one to finish. Because look at all this stuff. I mean, where do you even find all this stuff? You might note, they give you 12 different options to fill 6 spaces. That's because these just aren't really easy to find. Your best way to do so are the fruit bats in your cave on your farm. When Demetrius comes to ask you if you want bats or mushrooms, you might want to go with the bats for this choice because they can actually produce you all of the bottom 6 items. And if they do produce you one of each, you got it set. At the same time, if you do have animals producing you stuff, you can get the cheese, the goat cheese, the truffle oil. If you do have a pig, the cloth from sheep's wool. So these are just an extension basically of the last bundle anyway. So if you have those animals, you can get the animal products. Honey is easy, make a beehive. Jelly's pretty easy too. Now, if you're way too lazy to do all that, there is another way to get the greenhouse. And this is actually something I do quite often if I'm in a hurry to get a greenhouse. All you gotta do is sell your soul. It's that easy. Initially, it costs $5,000 for this membership. 5,000 gold, no more community center, no more work. This is basically spending money to avoid doing a whole bunch of work for the community center. So yes, let's do that. Now, you can't do anything the first day. You've got to wait till the next day before you're able to do anything of use. So we'll go to bed, go back to that weird guy tomorrow. If you do want to get the most out of Stardew Valley, I would recommend doing the community center though, not selling out like I did, because it's actually a lot of fun and challenging to try and get all the bundles complete. You got to plan ahead, make it all work. That's a big part of the game in itself. But if you're like me, we can look at the bundle and look at all the options we have. You can only do one at a time. Please remember that. So if you think you're going to select them all in one day, nope. The greenhouse, 35,000 gold. That seems expensive, but it will make you so much money. It is easy. I would pay 10 times that and still not blink an eye. Now that that's over with, one more day and our greenhouse will be ready to go. Now that this is done, let me show you the best layout for it. This is what it looks like. Unfortunately, it is an uneven size, so if you're using the best sprinklers, the iridium sprinklers, they don't fit super nicely, but they do cover the whole space with minimal loss, so not a big deal. As demonstrated here, there's just no proper way to do this, so you could have either a little bit of overlap or your sprinklers watering stuff that's outside your crops. Not the end of the world because you still get all this space to work with. I like to just put a few on the edge, just like that, and then you only lose 4 spots out of the whole thing, leaving you with, I believe, 116 spaces to work with all year round. I forgot to mention that another way to get ingredients for the community center would be to check the traveling merchant. Here every Friday and Sunday. I would always recommend checking her every Friday and Sunday anyway. She has some rare and valuable stuff that you can't acquire very easily. Here's a duck egg, for example. That's part of one of the animal bundles. Nothing else really of value. The coffee beans, always worth their while. And a Dorado, whatever that is. That's exactly what I mean. It's so rare that I don't even know what it is, and I've played 600 hours in this game. I'm gonna buy it just for fun. Once you get yourself to this stage, I would recommend using sprinklers of some variety, iridium obviously the best, because the whole point of a greenhouse is it's something you don't have to take care of. Crows cannot get to it, nothing can happen to it. As long as it stays water, it will produce what it's supposed to produce. Now, there are better choices for what you want to put in the greenhouse, depending on what you can get your hands on. Things like blueberries and cranberries, you can simply just buy them from Pierre's. They are a good choice because they continually produce. All you've got to do is stop in and pick them whenever they're ready to harvest, which is every 5 days, I believe, something like that for either one. You don't have to re-hoe the ground, you don't have to replant them, they just produce and produce and produce. It's easy perpetual money with very, very little effort. Then we get into some crops that are a little more valuable but need to be replanted, like star fruit. It's going to cost you a lot to buy, but it is going to make you a large amount of money. The problem with starfruit is you have to have access to the desert before you can buy them. Conveniently, if you've been working in the community center, you might have access to the bus anyway, because that's one way to unlock it. Another, the good old Joja Mart, of course. So if you're taking that route, you probably have access to starfruit. It's a good option. Spend that money, get the starfruit, multiply that money. A still better option would be the sweet jamberry, of course. That comes from rare seeds. Now, these are harder to acquire and even harder to multiply. Basically, the best way to do it is get your hands on a single seed by any means necessary, even if that means stealing it from the kids. Once you have one, plant it in your greenhouse, love it, care for it, water it, tend to its needs. It will produce you a sweet jamberry when it's done, at which point it disappears, you harvest it. Put it in a seed maker, multiply it. Do the cycle again. Plant those 2 or 3 sweet gem berries, wait till they grow up, multiply until your greenhouse is full. These will make you the most money in a single harvest, especially fertilized, but once you pick them, you've got to replant them, got to multiply them again. So not my favorite choice, but will make you a ton of money anyway. Now, my number 1 choice, ancient fruit. Kind of the same as the sweet gem berry, you need to find one by whatever means necessary. These are a little bit easier to find. You're pretty likely to find one through your year 1, especially if you're multiplying other seeds in your seed maker anyway. You have like a 1% chance to get an ancient fruit. Sounds like low odds, but it's going to happen, trust me. The reason I like these so much is that once they produce their fruit after a long time, they continue to produce every week. Once a week you walk in, pick these, easy. Throw them in the bin, money, no problem. All you've got to do is pick them, sell them, rinse, repeat. No extra work, that's all you have to do. It's that easy. And now you might be wondering what the value of these things actually are, so let's go through the top 3. The starfruit would be one thing I definitely recommend. Like I said, you get them in the desert, they do have a 13-day cycle, so as you see, once you pick them, they will disappear and you need to replant them. Not the end of the world, especially because you can buy these seeds in bulk from the desert, just buy a whole bunch, worth the money. Also, fertilize them. I didn't fertilize these ones because I'm lazy. You'll still make your money back, you'll still make a lot of money. And the experience is pretty good. You can see me leveling up thanks to my one mod. So you definitely get some really good farming experience, which makes things that much more valuable and easier again. So how much do you think a greenhouse of starfruit is worth? We'll find out. Like I said, not fertilized, the bare bones value. I believe these cost 400 per seed each, but the money's going to be worth it. And I'd like to point out that I just leveled all the way up to farming level 7 and I was at 0 before that. 103,000 gold. 103,000 from a single harvest. Simply 13 days, all I had to do was plant a small crop. That's another thing I like about the greenhouse, it's so small that it's easy to plant. And you know what I don't have to worry about today? The crops in my greenhouse because they're protected. Now, what about the more valuable choice, the sweet jam berry? 24 days. Is it worth the wait? We can sure find out. Especially because these are largely free. Like I said, the way to get them, get one, grow it to maturity, put it in a seed maker, multiply. Keep multiplying it in the greenhouse, it's perfect for that. Normally when I'm building these, I have a seed maker down the side somewhere, that way I can continue expanding my valuable crops while growing less valuable crops around them. There we are. Again, these are unfertilized, so 21 gold quality, 68 regular, 27 silver. The gold and silver are actually pretty close in quantities for once, that doesn't happen very often. 400,000. And you didn't have to buy the seeds, so that is basically pure profit. 400,000 for 24 days, and those are unfertilized. Do fertilize these, use quality fertilizer of course, you'll make even more. 400,000 though, just for basic quality. But then, what about my favorite choice of all? How much are these worth? They take 28 days to grow, unless you have a way of speeding that up. You might want to consider speed grow on these just initially. I actually don't recommend fertilizer on these because they grow forever and it only lasts for the first few harvests anyway. It is worth it, but not hugely necessary for these. Like magic, they're ready to go. And the beauty of them, like I've been saying, they don't go anywhere once you pick them. In 1 week, they're ready to go again. I don't have to put any effort into redoing them. They're just here. So, what do we figure these guys are going to be worth? 116 ancient fruit. We're looking at 81,316. Now, I know what you're thinking, they aren't worth as much as the other crops, but they'll do this every week. They have a faster growing time. The starfruit were worth more, but you had to buy those initially, so you're buying those seeds basically every time. That's going to cut into your profits. And they take 13 days, so that's 5 days longer for 20,000 more gold. The ancient seed is definitely more valuable than the starfruit. And the sweet gem berry will make you more money, but it's going to take you more effort, and especially the fact that you have to multiply the seeds again and again. Because if you pick a full greenhouse of the sweet gem berry, well, you've got no seeds left. You've got to put those into the seed maker, so you really only get your profit every 2 harvests, so that's definitely something to consider. That's why I picked the ancient fruit. Pretending it's 1 week later, they're ready to go again. That easy. No care in the world to stop by once a week to collect your money, 80,000. Now if you want to take things one step further, fruit trees. Fruit trees grow in here all year round. I've got every fruit tree in the game right here. They will max their capacity every 3 days, so it's up to you whether or not you want to come in here every 3 days to pick these because they're not worth as much. So let's take a quick look at what the simple fruit trees will produce for you money-wise. And as the years go on, they will produce you better quality stuff. Every year they upgraded 1 quality. That's something I didn't mention in my big fruit orchard video. By simply having 1 of every fruit tree in there, you'll get 2,000 gold every 3 days. And like I said, every year that value is going to go up quite a bit. So it will make you money, not a lot. That's more just to have something else for that empty space in the greenhouse. And the fact that you can have every fruit you want, always. Now to take things even one step further, you can use more of the empty space in here. Kegs. Having kegs in here, you can put whatever you're growing into the kegs. They will produce you wine. Wine is more valuable version of whatever you put in there. So the ancient fruit becomes more valuable. You just gotta wait for it to finish. But if you've got this space, might as well use it. You've got nothing to lose by doing it. Now, you cannot have enough kegs in here to do your entire crop at one time. I've got about 75 in here. A clever person might be able to squeeze a few more in here. Whatever the case, if you want to do them all at once, build some outside, put some in a barn or a shed, whatever it's going to take. Because once these are done and ready to give you the product, you're going to make a lot of money off of it. And yes, this will take extra time, but you've got to wait for them to grow anyway, and you're probably making so much money, you might as well wait a little bit to make a little bit more. So 116 ancient fruit wine, what are those worth? So instead of 80,000, we're up to 191,000. Conveniently enough, the time it takes to turn a berry into wine, 1 week. So you can set it up so that as things are processing, they'll be done by the time you go to harvest again. So you can have one day, harvest the crop, put it in the kegs, harvest the wine out of them. 191,000 every week. Believe it or not, you can still take it one step further if you choose to. That, of course, is using the cask. Using a cellar to age products like wine and cheese. So once you have your stuff turned into wine, get a cellar for your house. That's the final house upgrade. Fill it with casks and put your products in there. And after 56 days, it will turn your wine into iridium quality wine, which is its most valuable form. It does take 56 days, so you're not going to be able to do it regularly, but throw a batch down there once in a while and forget about it. And go pick it up later for easy money. And conveniently enough, there's enough room in your basement to do an entire batch all at once. Once your wine is properly aged, you'll be rewarded with a nice purple star and some iridium quality wine. So just keep doing that until you've got it all. Now the big question, now that we're all the way into winter, is the iridium quality wine valuable? Well, of course it is. Now we need to see how much it's worth. Like I said, you just do this once in a while, throw a batch in there and forget about it, and the time it takes to get the value of it, not really worth it. But you will make money, so what's not to like? 382,000 for what works out to be a single greenhouse worth of products. 382,000, that's over the course of several months though by the time you're done this process, so this will be a once in a while type thing. Anyways, that about sums up the greenhouse. This layout is what I typically have in there. It is the most productive use that I've found, given the least amount of effort, which is always what I'm all about. The most money for the least effort. Look at it, it's beautiful. Feel free to do it however you want, of course. Maybe you can find a better way. Maybe you just don't enjoy my style anyway. The sky's the limit. At a glance, Stardew Valley seems like a really simple, straightforward game. But the reality is, it's actually really deep and really complex, with so much content that you probably don't even know most of what exists. I know I certainly don't, and I haven't seen everything there is to experience, because there's some events in this game that are so rare, they basically just don't happen. And that's exactly what we're going to be taking a look at today. What I've determined to be the rarest events in Stardew Valley, and again, some of these are so rare that even I've never seen them, and I've played for hundreds of years, put hundreds of hours into this game. Surprisingly, we're going to start off at number 1 with the meteorite. Now the first indication that you found one is the sound of it crashing into your farm overnight as you're falling asleep, followed by some redundant text that tells you that yes, you did in fact hear something overnight. The meteorite will randomly land somewhere in your field. It will not break any buildings, it will however destroy things like crops, trees, and any of the debris that's sitting on the ground. And in order to remove it from your farm, you're going to need an upgraded pickaxe, at which point you'll be rewarded with some iridium, some geodes, and some stone. The iridium is the only thing of value that comes from a meteorite. Amazingly enough, the meteorites have a 1% chance to spawn, so that's about once in a year, and surprisingly that actually makes them the most common occurrence on this list. 1% once a year, and they're far more common than some of the other things we're going to talk about. Coming in at number 2 on our list is a helpful little event when it does happen, and that is the crop fairy. And this fun little event, again, happens overnight. As long as you have crops in your field, you have a chance for the crop fairy to show up. What it does is randomly turns one or more of your crops into fully matured plants, that way they're ready for harvest the very next day. The amount it does seems to vary, anything from a single plant like seen here to a square of 5x5 is the biggest it's yet been reported. And if you're really lucky, this can actually happen on your very first night. I can't find any official numbers on exactly how often it happens, but the consensus seems to be about 1%. Therefore, I'm rating it a little bit rarer than the meteors because you need to actually have crops in the ground for it to show up. Whereas with the meteor, you've always got a farm field. Also, fun fact, if you grow the fairy roses in fall, it actually increases the odds of a crop fairy showing up. At number 3 on our list, we have the witch, and this event can be good or bad depending on your outlook. Once again, this is an event that can occur overnight. About a 1% chance, again is the consensus, rarer than the other two because you need to have either a slime hutch or a coop for it to even trigger. Once it does, the witch will turn up, cast a little spell on either of the mentioned buildings, and in the morning, well, you're in for a little surprise, which can be either good or bad. If it's your slime hutch she's been after, she turns all of your slimes black, at which point you have to restart getting all the proper colors again. Or sometimes the game bugs out and you get a weird flashing slime. That one is both blue and black somehow. Now if you're like me and are particular about the color of your slimes, simply add a wicked statue to the slime hutch and she will no longer affect the slimes, she will only get the coop. Now as we move forward on our list, we get into some of the things that are actually so rare that a lot of players will never even encounter them while they play. Most of these things from here forward I've only seen once or twice as I've been playing, and some of them not even at all. At number 4 on our list is simply some very rare dialogue from Marnie. Unfortunately, she didn't share it with us today. That's probably because the odds of her doing so are 0.01%. To put that into perspective, that is 1 in 10,000 times that you walk through that door, she's going to share some of this dialogue with you. But, fun fact, she did actually give me some of this dialogue in a stream a long time ago. If you look through enough of my videos, you can find it somewhere way back there. Now, in case you're wondering what this super secret dialogue is, well, the first phrase she can say is, "Did you bring the truffle oil?" I'm just kidding. The actual lines are, "Sigh. When the door opened, I thought it might be Lewis." And Lou, oh. Now this event obviously isn't anything particularly useful, it's just amazingly rare, so if you ever get the chance to experience it for yourself, well, feel honored because not very many people at all have ever seen it. Coming in at number 5 on our list is something even rarer than a child I actually like, and probably equally as insignificant. And that are the things we randomly see flying across the background of the shipping screen. The first one we're going to take a look at is Santa, actually the more common of the two. He apparently simply shows up on the 24th of winter, just like in real life. But once a year, obviously not that rare, right? So how about this tiny, insignificant alien flying across the top of the screen? Well, that's easy. As long as it's not the 12th or the 28th of any month and didn't rain, there's a massive 0.001% chance that it's going to show up. So for perspective, that's 1 in 100,000 days, provided it's not the 12th or 28th and didn't rain, so you might be waiting a while to see this again. Next on our list is an event that's actually so rare there's only ever really been one confirmed case of it happening. Now, think about that. There's been millions of people that have played Stardew Valley, some of them for many hundreds if not thousands of hours, one confirmed sighting. In fact, I've spent over 100 years just on this file specifically looking for this event. The event triggers overnight like many of them do. You hear a strange sound during the night. When you wake up, you find somewhere on your field this thing, the strange capsule. It simply sits here pulsing. If we mouse over it, there's something fleshy bobbing around inside the fluid. And you might notice it's pulsing not unlike a crystallarium. Then, suddenly, 3 days later, it's no longer pulsing and it looks like something has escaped. It's now known as the empty capsule. Part of the glass is shattered. And of course, no one really knows what that means or if anything happens because so few people have ever experienced this. Like I said, there's only ever been one confirmed sighting. The reason this event is so rare is that the base event itself has a 1% chance to trigger. That's not so bad, that's once a year. But once that 1% triggers, it scans your entire field. It needs to find 50 clean spaces for it to actually happen. Now the problem is, it can scan things like your pond, it can scan the edges of the field, it can scan your house. So in theory, this might not ever happen. You could play for 1,000 years with a completely clean field, you still might not see it. And that's why no one out there really has seen it. Because the odds of you having a perfectly clean field on the day it actually happens and it to find the right spaces, pretty much non-existent. I've heard a lot of different numbers out there about how often it does actually spawn. 1 in 400 years seems to be kind of the consensus. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that, but I know I've spent well over 100 years on this file looking for it. Still haven't seen it. Like I said, in theory, if the scan never goes your way, you might just not see it. Because out of the approximately 3,500 spaces on your farm, several hundred are automatically occupied, and if it keeps scanning even one of those spaces, it just won't happen. But that's one of the video ideas I have in the works, and I will find it eventually. I don't care how long it takes. Do you see these worms in my field? Even these can stop the capsule from spawning. If it scans these, it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to wait another 400, 500, 1,000 years. A lot of people didn't actually believe this existed because it is so rare. And a lot of pages you'll find about it actually consider it not in a game because it basically just doesn't happen. But I do know it exists thanks to a few mods. There was a custom mod created just to help me with this process. If you'll notice in the bottom left, well, it shows what events are trying to happen. And about once a year, that 1%, you'll see it try and trigger the UFO event. It clearly says UFO event, at which point it activates its scan. Hasn't actually found the clean spaces in my field yet, but it is trying, so it is confirmed it is in the game. Now, interestingly enough, there is something that actually seems to be even rarer than a strange capsule. I'm not even sure how that's possible, but rumor is every once in a long while, people wake up to find this on their farm. This is a stone owl. It's very hard to find any reliable information about this anywhere on the internet or even in the game's code itself. There's only really bits and pieces, so no one's really sure if this actually exists in the game. Also, don't confuse it for the garden art stone owl I believe you could buy at one of the festivals. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm considering this rarer than the strange capsule because there's just less information about it out there. At least there's some kind of confirmation about the strange capsule. With the stone owl, it's really not much. People say, yeah, they think it happened on one of their files a million years ago. No one can provide any proof of it. Even the game's code is pretty hazy on whether or not it exists at this point. My current understanding after looking at the code is that it can potentially spawn in the same way as a strange capsule. I'm not sure if there's any more factors involved, or maybe it's just a variable. Maybe it happens instead of the strange capsule. We're still not really sure. However, interestingly enough, after using my event mod again, we maybe have some verification that it is still in the game. As indicated here, one fine winter day, tonight's event reads owl, so I'm assuming it was trying to trigger in somewhat the same way the capsule does, but whatever factors were required just didn't happen. This seems to happen about as much as the capsule, so the base event itself probably sits about 1%, but the factors required to actually make it happen are unknown at this point. They might not even still be in the game. They might actually be the same as a strange capsule. It's just so rare that no one really has any information at this point, despite the many hours people have played at this game. The fact that it does show up in my event mod really gives me hope for this one. I'm really hoping to find it at some point along with a strange capsule. I really like the fact that they added these ultra rare things into the game. It just gives you something to look forward to and appreciate every once in a long while when you do actually encounter these. There are other rare events in the game, but as far as I could tell, these are the rarest of them. If anyone knows any more about these, please do let me know in the comments below or wherever. I want to know more about these things. If you guys have ever seen them, if you have proof, that would be amazing. Or maybe there's other secrets out there that no one's even seen yet. There are a lot of Easter eggs and small things in the game that you really have to look for. Things like the sea monster you never see, the alien in the shipping bin, you'd never see that. I am going to continue my capsule hunt and I'll be putting a video out on that as soon as I actually find it. I'm on year 130 currently, probably going to take 400 to 500 years by everyone's theory. Something that people have been asking me about forever is, what's at the bottom of Skull Cavern? And the truth is, I have no idea, but today we're going to find out and we're going to do it together. But before we get to that, we've just got one thing to get out of the way, which involves marrying Leah again, and then we gotta have one of these and give him a suitable name. Yeah, this looks like it'll work nicely. Hey, you know that prismatic shard I was going to give you today? Everything went well, and now Little Sacrifice 1 is part of the family. We're very fortunate. Yep, everything's coming along real nice. I can't wait to get rid of that little moron. And here we go. No Skull Cavern run is complete without making a proper sacrifice. Sorry, Leah, but to be fair, it was right there in the name the whole time. Amazing what I can accomplish in only 10 minutes, huh? Yep, kiss to celebrate, I'm going to bed. You know what? We might as well have a productive day today. This way we'll be sure that everything's going our way today. Nothing in our way. And by today, I mean tomorrow. I'm not going to head to Skull Cavern at 9:20 AM. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, on a more serious note, a lot of people have been asking over the years, does Skull Cavern actually have a bottom? And that was something I wondered for a long time myself. We know the regular mines bottom out on floor 120, but the mines also have a very handy elevator. Once you hit floor 120, you can just take the elevator right back here anytime you want. And it is a bit of a process making it down 120 floors. As it turns out, Skull Cavern has quite a few more. Fun fact, there used to be an exploitable glitch where if you used a bomb right here, it would give you a staircase directly to Skull Cavern, because it considered it floor 121. As it turns out, Skull Cavern does technically have a bottom. There is a floor in which no one can get past, but it's a little bit far down there. And not many people have ever seen it or ever will for that matter. This is what floor 1 looks like. There's not a lot to see here. A couple annoying enemies, mostly just rocks, a solvable puzzle on the wall, a little bit of ore, and because it's a good luck day, I have a shaft. 7 floors later, we find ourselves on floor 8, which is pretty much the same. The floors don't change a lot until you start getting some kind of depth. Every 10 floors is when the odds for iridium actually change, and iridium is kind of what you're in Skull Cavern for. So you want to make it down as deep as possible to maximize your chance for iridium. You can find it within the first 10 levels, but it is pretty rare. And on a typical good luck day, like today, I found 5 iridium nodes on floor 12. This would be pretty remarkably rare, but it does happen. 5 iridium nodes plus a shaft on floor 12. Which will give me a total of 16 iridium ore and 1 prismatic shard. That might be the luckiest lower floor that anyone's ever received. Here after floor 20, our odds for iridium have increased yet again. But still, all the lower floors don't really have a great chance for iridium. You might get lucky like I did and get a whole bunch in one area, but consistently you're not going to find a lot. But say we had some kind of fun mod that would help us skip, say, 1,000 levels. If we do that and go to floor 1021, we suddenly find ourselves with more iridium than anything else. Because this is conceivably further down than you'd ever be able to regularly get in the game. I believe I've gotten in the neighborhood of 500 levels before, people have done more, but to get to 1000, I'm just not sure it's possible. So then how about 10,000? Not a lot changes, we do still get some gold ore, but it's largely iridium. Well then how about floor 50,000? Are we close to the bottom yet? Turns out we're not. We still have a lot of iridium, we still have annoying enemies, but we're still nowhere near the bottom. And one thing I have noticed is that from floor 1000 downwards, it's mostly all the same. You're just going to hit a lot of iridium all the time. And even just one of these floors is probably about as much iridium as you're really ever going to need anyway. This successful run to Skull Cavern floor 100,000 is brought to you by the sacrifice of a small innocent child. So clearly, we can go down 100,000 floors. Are we near the bottom yet? Absolutely not. Because, according to my information, the bottom of Skull Cavern is this floor. Floor 2,147,483,527. That's right, 2.1 billion floors below the surface. So for anyone who's ever been curious, this is the bottom of Skull Cavern. Now you might be wondering about that ladder right there. Well, we're going to explore that in just a few minutes. I just want to take a moment to enjoy this, because this is something I've been wondering for quite a few years, and this is the first time I've ever actually been here. And Skull Cavern just wouldn't be the same without these annoying things. By the way, the iridium bats are actually more annoying, but we just see them a lot less, so they're not as much of a factor. There's another ladder. The whole thing is just tempting me to go one floor further. I think this is probably the only thing deeper than Marnie's business needs with Mayor Lewis in Stardew Valley. So what we got is a whole bunch of iridium. That's no surprise. This looks like any floor basically after floor 1000, maybe even a little bit shallower. So where does this ladder go? And why are there still gray rocks here? We're 2 billion floors down. You think we would have gone beyond the need for normal rocks. But those always seem to show up. Anyways, can we get deeper than floor 2.1 whatever billion? No, we cannot. The game simply does not let you go one floor deeper. So what about that next ladder? Also doesn't work. The game seems to try and react to it, but it just doesn't want to let you go any deeper. Now, if I'm understanding this correctly, that is because Skull Cavern is basically procedurally generated, and the game can't procedurally generate beyond 2.14 billion times, something to that effect. That's why there's just nothing beyond this floor. This is as many floors as it can possibly generate. But obviously, I'm not going to give up here. Let's blow up everything on this floor. First of all, to see the value of the lowest floor in Skull Cavern, and secondly, to try and find a shaft, because maybe the game's going to let us jump into one of those and take us down to some floor that just doesn't exist. That's probably mostly just going to break the game, but I'm going to enjoy trying it anyway. If I'm not breaking the game, I'm just not trying hard enough. Luck seems to be on our side on this floor. We have 3 prismatic shards already, and we've only covered maybe 60% of the floor. So prismatic shards seem to like to show up down here. There's another 2. 5 prismatic shards on the lowest floor. 360 iridium and 5 prismatic shards. Imagine finding that on any other floor. Now, unfortunately, we didn't find any shafts here. All we have is another bat flying in from the darkness to annoy me. But I do have a button that takes me down 1,000 floors automatically. So we're going to hit that. Anyone want to wager a guess as to what's going to happen? Let's find out right now. Nothing. The game just won't let me go any further. I try and it makes it sound like I'm dropping the floor, but nothing actually happens. It just cannot physically give me any more floors. I'm honestly kind of disappointed with that because I wanted to at least break the game. But this does pretty firmly confirm that this is the bottom of Skull Cavern. You just cannot get any lower. I can skip floors, do all sorts of crazy things to get down to this floor, but once I'm here, this is it. End of the line. 2,147,483,527. Maybe someone in the comments could put the actual scientific reason for why this is the lowest floor. I'd be happy to pin it. I just don't want to bother to look into it or explain it myself because I just don't care that much. Now for one painful maneuver, we're going to leave. We're going to give up 2.1 billion floors of progress. Not that I worked particularly hard to get there, but it just feels weird. Normally you work so hard to get any depth down in Skull Cavern. And I just gave up 2.1 billion floors, no big deal. And what is the lowest floor in Skull Cavern worth? Well, let's throw everything in the bin and find out. The best part of all, I have this big house all to myself. So the value for that madness, 50 golden cave carrots. Could have got a little more from the clay, but 49,000 from mining, so just under 50,000 gold worth of value. That would vary depending on what floor actually spawns there. It's going to change the layout. The bigger one's obviously going to give you more money because they're going to have more stuff on them. 360 iridium worth 36,000 gold, 5 prismatic shards worth 13,000. That's really good value for a single floor in the mines. Of course, you would never ever get there legitimately because that's so many floors down that even if you could physically make your way down there, it would take so much time. You'd be an old person by the time you got there. Actually, correction, I think you'd probably be dead. Someone should probably check the math on that, but I know generally when you get into the billions of anything, it's so much time that it's absurd. So now that we've seen the bottom of Skull Cavern, I want to do it again. I want to see if the floor looks any different. I assume it's still procedurally generated sort of thing, so it's going to look different every time you go to it. But I want to go play with it one more time. I do want to see if I can find a shaft. Because my mod maker who made me this mod said he did manage to get lower, but the game crashes. It tries to take you to floor at -8 and it just doesn't like that very much, so it crashes. So I really want to see if we can make that happen. Mostly just because then I can say I've been lower than the lowest floor in Skull Cavern, and that sounds like something I would do. Okay, we're on floor 1001, and now we get the star floor that I was actually looking for a little while. And admittedly, that was because I hit the wrong key. I was looking for this one. Back to the lowest floor. Oh, we do have a shaft. Okay, we got the shaft on the lowest floor. Let's do a quick run around the donut to see what else is hiding down here. Probably mostly just going to be the same. I don't think there's any significance to this floor other than it just happens to be the last one you can possibly land on. And as always, because it's Skull Cavern, there's going to be enemies to annoy you. They're going to do way too much damage and move way too quickly. So again, just to confirm, the ladder does nothing but makes the game kind of slow down. And the shaft? Will the shaft do anything? Jump in. Okay, it does nothing. We fell 7 levels back to here. What happens if we do it again? 7 levels. Well, we're just kind of continually going in a loop. 8 levels, we got a little more on that one. This would be kind of interesting to see how these work. 8 levels. 7, 7, 8, 8, 8. 7 levels again. I don't know why it's bouncing us between 7 and 8. I don't know if that's because it is the last floor and it just doesn't really know how to react after this. 5 levels. Okay, it does vary somewhat. 3 levels. Okay, it started so consistent. Now it's jumping all over the place. Well, if you're ever wondering randomly what happens if you jump into shafts continually, how many floors it's going to take you, usually not very many. A few 3s and 5s, but no 13s, 14s, 15s. I believe 15 is the max. 3 is the minimum, 15 is the max. Well, that's kind of interesting. There's 13 levels. That's a good one. You very rarely fall 13 levels. So for those of you that have been wondering and asking, the deepest you can go in Skull Cavern is floor 2.1 whatever billion. Also, my horse no longer has a house. Do you know what I've never legitimately done despite hundreds of hours of gameplay and hundreds of years in-game? Collected all the star drops. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I've even started a brand new file, and this guy is going to be the first one to collect them all for me. Now, for those of you that don't know what a star drop is, a mysterious fruit that empowers those who eat it. The flavor is like a dream, a powerful personal experience, yet difficult to describe to others. You're not likely to find it in item form, by the way. Basically what these do when you find them is increase your energy by 34 points. You start with 270, so each one gives you a considerable boost. And these are very helpful because you need energy to do almost anything in-game. There are 7 star drops in total, and we're going to be going through them in roughly the order you could expect to find them in your playthrough. The first star drop you're likely to encounter actually comes from the mines, and you can't even access the mines until your 5th day of spring. Most people will find themselves in the mines almost daily in the early stages of the game because they're trying to collect as many gems and ore as they can. The gems make you a lot of money, but the ore is needed for basically crafting anything else. Every 10 floors along the way is going to reward you with a treasure chest, which obviously generally provide you with something useful to use along the way. Make your way all the way to level 100, and then the treasure chest, you guessed it, it's a star drop. And you definitely earned it by now because you spent a ton of energy getting this far down into the mines. You found a star drop. It's strange, but the taste reminds you of star drops. Your maximum energy level has increased. So now we're all the way up to 304. Linus, you should be taking notes. I just worked really hard and was rewarded and got to eat something. Our next star drop comes from meeting and getting familiar with some of the local NPCs. Why hello, purple-haired weirdo, it's nice to meet you. Oh, that's right, I heard someone new was moving on to that old farm. Yes, I'm the new guy. It's kind of a shame really, I always enjoyed exploring those overgrown fields by myself. Well, good news Abigail, you still can because I'm not actually a farmer. Unless you can consider me to be farming marriages. As you probably already know, giving people gifts makes them like you, it's just like real life. Give them enough gifts and eventually they'll hit their limit. Abigail is at 8 hearts, her current limit. Notice she's currently single. Well, she's going to stay that way because we're actually going to marry Leah. Now once you have a single NPC at 8 hearts, you can give them a bouquet bought from Pierre and you will at that point start dating. And yes, you can date multiple NPCs at the same time. You want to get more serious? I feel the same way. The thing is, Leah, I don't want to, but I kinda have to for this video. I'm kinda nervous, aren't you? Not really. To be honest, this is probably the last time we'll ever speak. Now that Leah is actually my girlfriend at 8 hearts, we can now move her up to 10 hearts with a few well-placed gifts. Basically, just pretend I gave her a few gifts. Well, this is awkward. Once you have your current favorite NPC at 10 hearts, go to the beach on a rainy day. The right side that you have to unlock, buy a mermaid pendant from the ghost. At which point you can ask your boyfriend or girlfriend to marry you. And when I say ask, I mean you're pretty much just telling them. For some reason, Leah doesn't want to marry me, and I'm not really sure why. She's at 10 hearts, she is my girlfriend, but she doesn't want to marry me. So I guess we'll try it again tomorrow? Okay, today I'm 99% sure she's gonna say yes, because they don't turn me down very often at all. Oh, thrilled EF, I'm sorry, but I don't want to marry you right now. I don't know what to say right now. This doesn't happen very often at all. Well then how about you, option number 1? I'll accept this, thank you. Okay, we're officially dating, she's very happy about that. I didn't know you felt the same. I didn't until Leah turned me down. Alright, twice the girlfriends, hopefully not twice the rejection. Abigail, will you marry me? Abigail doesn't want to marry you right now. I don't know why no one wants to marry me suddenly, this isn't a good sign. Of course, if you actually want to get married, you need to have your house upgraded at least one time. Robin the Carpenter is the one to do that. 10,000 gold, 450 wood, and 3 days time is all it's gonna take. My favorite part about all this is it's not that they can't marry you before you have a kitchen, it's that they don't want to. And she accepts. 3 days from now, we'll get married. Here we have a beautiful ceremony. It's a bi-weekly tradition for myself, and it's all just a lot of fun. Now remember how they were at 10 hearts when we got married? Well, now they can go all the way up to 12 hearts. And if you get them even beyond 12 hearts to a secret 13th heart, they'll give you a stardrop. Followed by this amazing dialogue. Honey, I wanted to give you that fruit as a symbol of my love. Can you tell me where you got it so we can get more? That would be very helpful to a farm. As you can see, she's 13 out of 12 because I was giving her prismatic shards, which everyone loves. At this point, you're free to divorce your spouse, or just keep them forever and ignore them. It's almost the same difference, except for divorce costs you 50,000 gold. But thanks for the star drop. The next star drop on our fun little list comes from the Stardew Valley Fair, which happens on the 16th of fall. So you're gonna have to play through a few seasons to get to this one. The fair basically changes the entire town for a day. It starts at 9 AM, once you leave, it's nighttime. This guy sells you all sorts of prizes for your star tokens. Everything's quite interesting, but it's a star drop we're after for 2,000 star tokens. Now, star tokens are something that can just be bought for 50 gold each. So to buy the 2,000 you would cost you about 100,000 gold. Luckily, there's a way that's a little bit cheaper to do because you don't really want to spend 100,000 gold, at least in your first fall, on a star drop. You could actually do the Stardew Valley Fair and complete it in a ground display. You can get some star tokens that way. But I've done nothing on this farm, so I have nothing to display. You can play the strength game. It basically acts similar to the fishing game. You just need to click where the red bar is at the top. And you'll be rewarded for this monumental task with a single star token. Anything less and you get nothing. Strength level, gym teacher. All the games you play can reward you small amounts of star tokens. In my opinion, they're not really worth it. The grunge display can be worth it. If you put the mayor's purple shorts found on Marnie's floor on display, you will get 750 star tokens just for that. The mayor won't approve, but I certainly will. Doing a display legitimately will get you 50 star tokens for 4th place, 200 for 3rd, 500 for 2nd, and a full 1,000 for 1st. So to get the 2,000 you need for this star drop, you'd have to get 1st place in the grunge display 2 years in a row, and who wants to wait that long? The best way to do this is to buy a small amount of star tokens from this young lady. Let's buy, say, 20 star tokens for 1,000 gold, that's not bad at all. Now this game is the one you want to be focusing on. This shady looking gentleman, if we talk to him, step right up, pick a color and place your bet for a chance to double your wager. It seems like a 50-50 chance of orange and green. But the thing is, it lands on green 75% of the time and orange 25% of the time. That means it's going to hit green 3 times to orange's 1. Now, because we have 3-to-1 odds, simply bet half your star tokens. Even if you lose, you're still going to have more to bet again. Simply bet half of your total amount. So we have 10 of our 20 star tokens wagered on green. There's a 75% chance for it to land on here. And we win. So we double down, now we're up to 30. So this time we bet 15, and I think you get the picture. Or if you're feeling impatient, you can just bet your whole amount and really take a risk. Already I'm up to 153 star tokens and I haven't lost once. 228, and I think you see the point. Now, if we just simply go ahead and pretend I had the patience to do that 10 more times, we have our 2000 star tokens. I want my star drop, thank you. I didn't even have to embarrass the mayor today. You found another star drop. Your mind is filled with thoughts of star drops. Our next star drop comes from the sewers, but we don't have access to the sewers yet. Luckily for me, I've played this game way too much and I know exactly how to get in there. Unfortunately, that means we need to donate 60 items to the museum. Unfortunately, he's not accepting the lucky purple shorts. So now we have the large task before us. We've got to find all the artifacts we possibly can. We need 60 just to unlock the sewers. Well, luckily for me, I'm sitting with 36 right in front of me. You're likely to start finding these artifacts almost on day 1. If you spend any time in the mines, you're going to find artifacts. You see those little worms in the ground? Hold them up, you'll find artifacts. You'll just slowly find them as you play throughout the game. Processing geodes is also a great way to find these. So 60 may seem like a lot, but it's really not. You're going to do it naturally, probably before you hit this point in time anyway. But that is probably also going to mean sacrificing things like gems you donate to the museum rather than sell it or give it as a gift. This also has the added benefit of giving you some rewards along the way, some of which are more useful than others, and some are just kind of interesting. And here's a tip, if you're unsure if you've donated something to the museum, mouse over it. If it gives you an accurate description of what that item is, you have donated it. If it says this, Gunther can tell you more about this. If you donate it to the museum, well, you still need to donate it to the museum. So just mouse over it for a quick way to know for sure. And you might have noticed that among these rewards, there's no way to help you get into the sewers. Well, don't freak out just yet, because the morning after you hit 60 items, Gunther decides to show up at your doorstep at 6 AM. Good morning, I hope it's not too early. Well, I just wanted to stop by and thank you in person for all the wonderful artifacts and minerals you've discovered. You've done so much for one person. In fact, I've just received a letter from the Office of the Regional Secretary of Artifacts, who are being honored with a coveted Golden Shovel Award for our significant contributions to the field. Yeah, you might want to just pass that along to me, seeing as I single-handedly found every item in your museum. And it's all thanks to you. Well, I should let you get back to your work. And he goes to leave, but wait, he's remembered something. Oh, I almost forgot. I have a gift for you. It's an old key that's been sealed in the museum vault for at least 100 years. It's a little rusty, but still beautiful. Wait, you have a vault? What else is in there? And we got the rusty key. It has been added to your wallet. Now, if you don't know where your wallet is, go to your skills tab. Your wallet is at the bottom. The rusty key is the only thing I currently have. And it, of course, unlocks the sewers. I suppose for the past several hundred years, no one's been into the sewers and they just haven't really needed any maintenance. There's also a second entrance to the sewers in southern Cindersap Forest, and it just kind of leaks out into the ocean because no one cares about the ocean. Once in the sewers, you'll find a few interesting things. It's not particularly huge. You might want to try your hand at fishing here. This guy is the one we're after, Krobus. A human visitor? That's me. I would like to purchase your stuff. I don't care what you have to say. Thanks. He sells some pretty interesting and pretty useful stuff. Iridium sprinklers? Yes, please. The thing we're after though is a star drop, only 20,000 gold. Remember when we were almost going to spend 100,000 gold at the Stardew Valley Fair? Well, this one's a fifth of the price because Krobus is stupid. And here we go again. Star drop power, we're all the way up to 406 energy, and we started at 270. By the way, his iridium sprinklers only on Fridays. Next, we're going to need access to the Secret Woods. Now you're probably wondering, what are the Secret Woods and where are they? Well, if you start here at Marty's Ranch and walk all the way to the left, You'll find a large, annoying log directly in your path, and a regular axe won't break it, and neither will a copper axe. However, because you spent all that time in the mines already and have so much ore, you should be able to get your axe upgraded to an iron pickaxe at Clint. And with a few little chops, you'll be rewarded with 6 hardwood, 8 hardwood, and access to the secret woods. Chopping logs like that and these also give you a lot of foraging experience, by the way. The secret woods looks like this. It's full of slimes, some useful forageables. It's mostly hardwood that I like here, but the thing we're after is this. Old Master Cannoli, still searching for the sweetest taste. Which is simply telling us we need to give this statue something sweet and he'll reward us. Spoiler alert, what he's looking for is the sweet gemberry. It's by far the sweetest thing you've ever smelled. And that was easy enough, wasn't it? But the problem is, you can't just buy the sweet gemberry anywhere. You cannot buy the seeds anywhere. Your best bet to actually get the sweet gemberry is to check the traveling merchant every Friday and Sunday when she's here and hope that she's selling the rare seeds that day. Turns out today she's not, but if you see the rare seeds from her, buy them. Just for a reference, they look like this. Takes all season to grow in fall. They take 24 days under normal circumstances. And by the way, the sweet gemberry is the most valuable crop in the game, so you might want to start growing these as soon as you can. Once they're mature, run them through a seed maker to get more. And just keep doing that process until you have more sweet gemberries and therefore more money than you know what to do with. Again, they grow only in fall, but they work pretty good in a greenhouse, just saying. So, slam this into this guy's face. His eyes go red because he's actually evil. And stardrop. Not entirely sure how or why a stone statue is able to give you a stardrop. But let's not read into that too far. Thank you, weird statue in the woods. You're just as useful as my spouse was, but that actually took considerably less effort. Now unfortunately, the final 2 stardrops, well, they're considerably harder to get. Now the first one we're going to talk about requires getting the Master Angler achievement. Now, can you guess what that requires? Yeah, you've got to catch every fish in the game. Now, if you know where to find the fish, this isn't actually super hard to do, but it is going to take a bit of time, being that you have to go through every season, through every type of weather to find every fish, and some of them are actually pretty hard to catch. Now, you get your first fishing rod as early as day 2. This idiot named Willie will send you mail telling you to come and see him. He'll give you a basic fishing rod. From there, you catch basic fish, upgrade your fishing skill, buy better rods, you get the idea. It's a pretty simple process, but again, fairly time consuming. Because like I said, you catch different fish on a rainy day than on a sunny day, different fish in the ocean than you do in the river in town, or in the mountain lake by the carpenter shop, or even in the deep pools of the mines. Yes, Wikipedia is going to be your friend on this one if you want to know where to find all the fish. But to be fair, I do enjoy the fishing in this game, and it is quite a task to catch them all, but it does feel pretty good once it's finally done. And if you're not using the Wikipedia, good luck finding them all. There are also 5 legendary fish, basically 1 per season and 1 found elsewhere. And if you're wondering how many fish there are, well, just take a quick look through all of this. You can see there's quite a few to find. Some of them are very easy to find, some of them you can only find in one specific location. So if we now just kind of go ahead and pretend that I caught all these fish, it would look something like this. Did I manage to do it in a single day? This is every fish in the game, regular quality, sold overnight. And we definitely got some kind of achievement for that. Not sure what the game is going to give us. Greenhorn for earning 15k because I sold all the fish. Unfortunately, I didn't legitimately catch all those, so I did not get the star drop for it. But once you have actually managed to catch every single fish in a game, Willie will send you a star drop in the mail. So don't worry if you don't find it right away. Check your mail. So thank you, Willie. I'll pretend you gave me this gift for doing this monumental task of catching every single fish. And that means we've only got 1 left to go. Any guesses where it could be? Honestly, without the Wikipedia, it would be crazy hard to find all these because the game is so deep and there's so many different things you can do. But this final one is definitely the hardest one to do because it's probably the one I've never actually done in a legitimate playthrough. It's something I'm working on and I'm very close to doing, but still, after almost 900 hours, haven't done it. And that would be finishing this nightmare. That's right, all 95 things donated to the museum. Now I know what you're thinking, that's only 35 more things than it was to unlock the sewers. Well, some of these are a lot harder to find than the others. For example, once you start mining, you're going to find things like amethyst and jade all the time. They're everywhere. You're going to find multiples every time you're in the mines. Some things like this gold mask, well, they basically have, I believe, a 0.1% chance of spawning, and that's in the worms. So those worms you kind of see once in a while, well, hold those up. You have like a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting a gold mask. But things like this dinosaur egg tend to elude me. And that's because things like this have a 1% chance of spawning even when you do have the possibility to find them. For example, the dinosaur egg, you only can find it if you're looking for it using the worms in the ground. Well, it's only going to happen around the carpenter shop in the northern end of the map. And even then, if you're lucky to find worms there, it's a 1% chance. So, you gotta find 100 of those worms up near the carpenter shop to even have a chance of finding it. And sometimes the odds aren't in your favor. For example, I'm still looking for it. And I've been looking for it forever. Even just the task of spawning these items into existence and placing them right now takes time. It's not a lot of fun to do. So, to do this actually in the real game to find each and every one of these, be prepared to spend some time. Not that that's a big deal. Like I said, as you're playing along, you're gonna find a lot of these just naturally anyway. But if you're going out of your way to try and find them, it's going to take some time. And this process is so enjoyable that I missed an artifact somewhere along the way, so I've got to go back to the museum and figure out which one I missed so I can get the damn achievement. Yep, I count exactly 94 artifacts. I'm missing one, so I've got to figure out which one it is I'm missing. And I couldn't even begin to tell you how very much I don't want to do this right now, but for the sake of finishing this, I'm going to do this. Well, okay, it looks like I got it figured out. It was the prehistoric vertebrae, I believe is what it's called. And that's it, a complete collection. Never done this legitimately. I'm one item away on one of my play files, but it still eludes me and it actually might do it forever. There's my reward, the final star drop, number 7. Interesting how I actually put it into my backpack before consuming it this time. Well, this is the only one you can actually hold on to. So interestingly enough, once you receive this one from the museum, you can actually sell it. But it doesn't actually give you the money for it. But if you ever do actually get a hold of one you're able to sell, they do sell for quite a bit, 7,777 gold, one of the most valuable items in the game by quite a bit. So just like that, in a single day, this idiot went from 0 to hero, from 270 energy up to, let's pretend that's 506 because that's how many he's supposed to have. 506 is the maximum energy you can get from stardrops. So that's considerable. That's almost twice as much as you have when you start. By the time you find them all, you've probably got your skills pretty high up there, so you're using all your tools pretty efficiently, so that 506 energy is going to go a long ways to making you a better player. Hello everyone! Yesterday, we explored the dialogue of both the wizard and Linus at the Spirit Sea Festival. Something that is normally inaccessible to do, so people had speculated for years that they would have some kind of special dialogue to say. Well, it turns out they didn't really have anything special to say at all. This is the same thing they say when they're standing down below, which will happen in all the years following your first visit to this festival. However, after looking into this a little bit further, I've realized that the wizard is missing from a lot of festivals. He's standing in weird places that are inaccessible in a lot of them, so we're going to go through it today, festival by festival, trying to locate the wizard and see what he has to say. It turns out that if I warp back to my farm from the wizard, it puts me up here. So I think the logical way to do this is going to be to skip right into next year, start right in the spring, and do the festivals in the order that people normally would play through them. I believe that starts us with the ever-popular Egg Festival. The only question is, should we keep Shane around for this little adventure? Sigh, I just want to stay in bed. He just wants to stay in bed, everyone. Now that I think about it, I thought we had actually gotten rid of him yesterday. I must have forgot to save, or I'm just crazy. Someone let me know in the comments below. And goodbye, Shane. Wait, you know what? We never talked to Lewis when we stopped by. Hi there, Mubs, taking a break? And I disremembered why. Just like that, here we are, the 13th of spring, everyone's very first festival. The Egg Festival, which almost everyone plays because it's only 2 weeks into the game. Most people spend that long once they sit down and play Stardew Valley for the first time. I do have a little bit of a theory formulating on all this. I think the wizard was placed there on the Spirit Sea Festival to point out the fact that he was in an inaccessible location, to get you thinking about him. And then maybe from there you realize that you haven't seen him around at a lot of other festivals, so maybe he's hiding out there beyond the map. That is at least one potential reason why he was there, just to get you thinking about him. But let me know down below what you think of that. Maybe it's garbage. The Egg Festival has begun in the town square. I can't wait to compete against the children. Linus, by the way, I'm pretty sure is always standing somewhere accessible, a little bit away from the people, because, you know, he's Linus. Animals are always a little wary of people. No one really talks to me. I just come for the deviled eggs. Yeah, honestly, this is probably Linus's favorite day of the year. By the way, you're technically a citizen of the town. Are you allowed to be here? Now, for every festival, obviously they're pretty barricaded off. They have their kind of festival area. Everything else, not accessible. So as we wander around, most of the people are with their usual friend group. Children are running around being stupid children, but the wizard is nowhere to be seen. Lucky for me, I have a mod that makes me like a magnet to the wizard. So anytime that he's on the same area as me, I can simply press X and teleport to him. It's not working right now because I think I might actually need to start the egg hunt before I can find him, so we're going to go with that. Lewis, I don't have time for small talk, I'm on a mission. Let's get started. Yes, we're all ready. We're standing in attention. I'm competing against children anyway. Can we just get to this? There we go. Yeah, you've got to wait for the egg hunt to start before you can go find the wizard. For some reason, he's lurking over here near Jojamart. Don't know why, but he is clearly here. And what about raw lizard eggs sprinkled with blackened marrow? Okay, 1, who are you talking to? And 2, it's actually delicious. And 3, why are you over here by yourself? Now, we do have access to the out-of-bounds areas. Clearly, they're not going to work super well because they're not really meant to be played. There is an egg over here, though, interestingly enough. I wonder how many eggs there are over here. I do think I have limited time, considering my egg timer is still counting down, but I am still out of bounds. So that was fun. So the wizard is here, and I'm pretty sure that's the only time you're ever going to get that dialogue out of him. And I think that technically counts as cheating. But it was interesting that there was an egg over there. Maybe at one point that was a utilized part of the map that they just kind of took out because there was just too much space. Now if only I could get you kids to pick up litter this efficiently. We'd have the cleanest town on this side of the Gem Sea. Well, I guess that tells me there's other towns in this universe, in this world across the Gem Sea. Yeah, the winner is probably not me. I found 1 egg and I cheated to get it. Abigail! And I've also cheated on her before. Next up, we have probably my least favorite of all the festivals, but that's the flower dance. It happens on the 24th of spring. I'm honestly not sure if the wizard is normally here in attendance somewhere, or if he's off doing his own thing, so we're gonna go take a quick look for him. If he's missing, we'll press the magic X button and go find him. So far, I'm not seeing him. Everyone else is here in the normal attendance, even Linus hiding over here. Do you know where your friend the wizard is? Oh, hello there. It's nice of you to talk to me. Trust me, Linus, it's really not. You should see where this goes most of the time. Spring is almost over. What a shame. Yeah, from a survival aspect, you're about to get pretty warm for quite a while. Alright, wizard? Oh, okay, so the wizard is actually here. He's hiding up above everyone. I had no idea. Hello, wizard. What do you got to say? You shouldn't be up here. Yeah, likewise. I'm more of a wizard than you are. I can find you wherever you are, and apparently float over the cliff's edge. I kinda wish I had at least a little bit of room to maneuver. It's interesting how he's always a little ways away watching things. That is 2 in a row, so that does mean he has unique dialogue. Well, without any further options, I'd say we're moving on to the next festival. But before we get to that, if you zoom out, you can actually see the wizard standing up here pretty clearly if you're playing on a high resolution like I am. But more interestingly, we have a path, or what appears to be a path over here to the right. I can't help but wonder if that goes anywhere, and where that anywhere might be. I will try and explore this one further in the near future. I see there's also a weird texture up here, so maybe this is just an unused part of the game that doesn't do anything at all, but I can't help but wonder. Next, we have our very first summer festival on the 11th. That's a luau that happens at the beach. There's not a lot of secret real estate for the wizard to place himself at least as far as I know, but I can't picture where he's normally standing, so we're gonna have to play the waiting game. Boy, that was tough. Now, is the wizard in attendance? There is another purple gentleman, but that's the governor. Emily's over here dancing. George is up there in the corner where he belongs. Actually, no sign. Oh, the wizard is here, actually. He's just standing on the end of the pier, being a weirdo. What do you got? The more people are curious about your festivities. Interesting. I wonder if it's actually possible to see them here at the festival. They become upset when you litter into the ocean. Curious. I wonder if that actually has an effect. Someone try that for me. Throw a bunch of crap into the ocean. See if it makes one of the mer people spawn. Normally when you do see it, it shows up somewhere here, I think, and then just swims due south and disappears again. Oh, and while we hear another wizard secret, this is actually his daughter. It's tiring to socialize with everyone. I'd rather watch the sea. Hey, just like your dad. How about that? Oh, we can't forget about Linus. I need to get his dialogue all the way too. A slow, continuous rotation is key to achieving the perfect roast. How do you know anything about cooking? Linus, you live out of garbage cans. One last thing to do before I go. 1 poisonous mushroom for the soup. Alright guys, I'll see you next year. Has the porch always had a railing like this? I've never once noticed that ever. Anyways, the second fall festival is a Dance of the Moonlight Jellies. It's on the 28th of every summer, the last day. This one is a nighttime festival, happens after 10 p.m, and again, the wizard's probably not going to have any places to hide, but then again, there's always a secret area as demonstrated by the flower dance. We're going wizard hunting. And that actually sounds a lot cooler than it really is. He could actually be over at the new beach area that you have to unlock by fixing the bridge. Abigail is standing where the wizard was standing at the other one. Let's go talk to her really quick, see if we can find Linus, and I suspect the wizard might be over at the new beach. Abigail, where's your father? Such a rare and exciting thing. I want to push that child into the water. Not allowed to do that. I'll just sneak up when the jellies arrive. I don't want to bother anyone. Well, you just bothered me by talking to me, so mission accomplished. A few people standing over here. I don't do these festivals enough to be really familiar with them, so I'm not really sure who is always at these things, where they're standing, what they're doing. Oh, there's the wizard standing up by his weird statue. Tucked away up here. Maybe he's actually the guy that sells me the marriage pendants. Hello, wizard. How did you find me back here? I thought it was well hidden. Okay, so that might actually indicate that he's intentionally staying hidden at all these things. Perhaps you're blessed with the gift of clairvoyance. You're just standing there. I'm here to observe the lunaloos, or moonlight jellies as you call them. They possess an unusually potent magical aura for an aquatic life form. I'm starting to wonder if you're actually magical. You mostly just hide around in secret areas and watch people. But that is still interesting. That tells me he wants to stay hidden for a lot of these things. The Stardew Valley Fair is actually one of my personal favorite festivals because of all the mischief you can accomplish. It happens on the 16th of fall. It is the first of the fall festivals. Enter Pelican Town between 9 AM and 3 PM. I love how I can just read this right off the wiki. It makes it so much easier for me. Now, this is one where I do believe I already know where the wizard is standing. Normally he's sitting there eyeballing one of the other magicians here because he feels he knows him from somewhere or something. They're the best of friends. I can't remember. He's standing right down here by the fortune teller. Now I remember. Hello, weirdo. What do you know about that? Welbeck and I have known each other for a long time. She is a remarkable diviner and a good friend. I think this is Welbeck over here. Beautiful name, by the way. Quite original. Nothing? It's old and faded. Oh, I'm reading the gravestone. Well, so is the wizard, though. That clown. I know him from somewhere. Was it the School of Illusion? Or maybe the Carnival of Secrets? What if those are referring to anything? Illusions and secrets. That's what the wizard's all about. Yes, 100 gold, read my fortune. Tell me all about the wizard. Ah, yes, I see you at the beach. There's some kind of event taking place. You walk up to Krobus and say something funny. It seems like you two are good friends. Interesting. I see you and Abigail working together on a farm. You seem very pleased about something. Yeah, I just filed the divorce papers. Whatever I've told you can still be changed, if you set your heart on it. Farewell. Can I have my 100 gold back? Linus is over here with his kind. Hello, good friend. Have you talked to the wizard lately? These animals never judge people by the looks. The same can't be said for humans. Because the animals definitely think the same of a full-grown adult as they do a small child. Good observation, Linus. Very insightful. Interestingly enough, you can do this. I doubt it has any actual result though, so I'll let someone else play with that. I gotta move on to the next festival now. Bye, Lewis. Good whatever. Next, of course, is the festival that started this whole rabbit hole. That is the Spirit Sea Festival, 27th of every fall. Linus and the wizard are standing up above everything. What's interesting about this one is Linus is standing with the wizard. But then normally in later years, they're standing right down here, very obvious for everyone to see. So we don't need to dive back into this one. We saw this one yesterday pretty thoroughly. The 8th of winter brings us to the Festival of Ice. And these winter festivals are the ones I'm least familiar with. I almost never play these ones. So I have no idea if the wizard is here or if he's creeping somewhere. There is a lot of real estate here potentially because we're in the whole forest. Is Linus here somewhere? Is he dressed for the elements? I'm just kidding. Of course he is. He has to be. He lives in the elements. The path is blocked off down that way, so we can't go there. I'm not sure if we passed Abigail again or not. This is a big area to explore though, so wizard hunting once again. I'm surprised you can actually walk this far over and see all these areas. The secret woods is blocked off. There's the wizard way over here by his tower. He is blocked off, and interestingly, Linus is nearby. Linus, I think you let your fire go out. You should be better at this considering you live in the wilderness. Igloo buildings and art I picked up from the tundra dwellers who live beyond the frozen sea. Oh, there we go. You get a little more information about the geography of the world. That was many years ago. An igloo makes a nice home, but it's easier just to stay in my tent year round. Did you build this igloo by yourself? Well, that's interesting. Hope the wizard doesn't mind. Not like he has to do anything ever. Speaking of the wizard, let's see what he has to say. Seeking off to visit my tower, you're odd for a mundane. And you're odd even for a wizard. And that's all he has to say. I can't get into his tower, he's blocking the way, he's got something to hide. That must be it. Linus is a distraction. He's like, check out my igloo. And then the wizard's a second fairy to be like, nope, can't go in there. What are they hiding? They're working together on something. Interestingly enough, Linus is over here by the wizard. Either that's just kind of like a device to make you not be able to get to the wizard. Even that doesn't really have a lot of points. I'm not really sure what to make of this. By the way, this is the meteor farm now because I've been playing so long that I've developed a few meteors along the way. The night market is the newest festival. It was all the rage when it first came out with the new multiplayer update because it was one of the things that had been advertised forever as the new content coming with the new update. and it goes for 3 days, the 15th to the 17th of winter. It's kind of hard to get to the beach because I was smart enough to grow trees in the way. I think me growing trees in the way of things might have actually had a small effect because Willie's actually blocking the path right here. I can't get past him, which is odd. Something's gone wrong at the very least. I don't know if all the villagers actually show up and wander around here now that I think about it, but we're going to see if the wizard's here somewhere by pressing X. And it doesn't appear that he's here. Emily has showed up and walked into the water, so clearly the trees are not really helping my situation at all. Though I don't know if that would matter for the wizard because I feel like he doesn't walk anywhere. He tends to just teleport around. I don't think there's very many scenes where you see him walking around. He was standing right here before at the luau, and the statue was also here on that day too. Interestingly, neither of those are here right now. Well, Linus, you just made an appearance, so that's a start. It can get really cold if you live in a tent. I don't know what I'd do without you, Linus, I really don't. And just on the off chance that the wizard does happen to be running around somewhere out here on the water like myself, well, we'll just take a look around. So far, there is no sign of him, nothing exciting at all to be seen down here. I don't know if the wizard even comes to this festival or not. If he did, I think he would stand in a normal location because there's just not a lot of hidden areas around the beaches. And that leaves us simply with one festival to go, and that's the Feast of the Winter Star. I bet you can guess what day that's on. The 25th of winter. A day most of us know from real life. Now, this one happens between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. And you're definitely supposed to bring a gift, Secret Santa style, but I really can't be bothered to check my mail. Now, where is everyone? Here is Wizard's daughter. Nothing like a piping hot feast on a cold winter's day. I don't know, I'm pretty sure I've never eaten anything in my life. Linus should be somewhere on the outskirts, and I'm not sure where the wizard is. He is not here, suspiciously, so I think he's hiding somewhere off the edge. Well, here's hungry Linus. I join in, but I don't think I'm welcome. Well, there's some garbage cans around town. You have no problem eating from those in other days. Wizard? Oh, the wizard isn't here apparently. Interesting. He's suspiciously completely absent, and most of the areas are blocked off. So let's zoom all the way out and get our creep on. So far, nothing, but I'm going to go all the way around the perimeter of things, hoping to find the wizard or something of note. Because clearly concerned Dave did think it was amusing to hide things beyond the edges of the map during festivals. So far, everything looks pretty normal out there. I might have to explore this idea a little further, but instead of being a wizard magnet, I just need to go out of bounds and wander around a little bit. Because in most of these tools, I can't really escape the map. I don't have access to my tools. Normally, that's how I would do it. What would happen if you started a brand new farm and had level 10 skills on your very first day? I would love to answer that question, but that's boring. So today, we're going to find out what it looks like with level 100 skills. Which should be pretty interesting because normally you're capped at level 10, and even then, it's a lot of work to get there. And I just can't get enough trying to break the game. The first thing we're going to do is plant those parsnips that Mayor Lewis was kind enough to leave us last night on the floor of our home. Every time you level up your farming skill, you get a little bit more proficient with both the hoe and the watering can. So how much energy are we using at this point? I think we just made energy back. I think it actually reversed itself. I swing a pickaxe once, it uses energy. Swing it a few times, 262 out of 270. We use the hoe a few times, and it actually restores itself. I've reversed things entirely. Confirmed, at level 100 farming, you actually gain energy when you farm. I assume watering is going to be just the same, so we're going to use up a little bit of energy. We're down to 260, use the watering can once. 268, so we're gaining 8 energy every time we use the watering can. Which is great, because the more things I can water in a day, the happier I am. Unfortunately, farming skill does not affect the length of time it takes things to grow under normal circumstances. But again, that depends on your skill choices. Crops grow 10% faster on a crop that only takes 4 days, that's not going to make a difference. Also, my watering can doesn't seem to fill itself up with water at this point, so that's kind of disappointing. So I wonder how much it can hold. And I'm pretty annoyed that I just asked myself that question because now I want to know. I believe the higher your farming skill, the more water your watering can essentially can hold. So we'll get to that as soon as we harvest these and throw them in the bin. I'm really excited to see what quality we have. It looks like pure gold. Yep, 15 gold quality parsnips. There's no way you could manage that under normal circumstances. The highest you can possibly get in the game is level 13 farming. That's with max farming skill, plus the food to boost your farming another 3. So 15 gold quality parsnips, 855 gold. Not a lot, but considering that's parsnips, not bad. I may have been wrong about the amount of water a watering can can hold. I don't know if it actually increases, it might just change the amount of energy used. But seeing as my watering can is giving me energy at this point, I guess I shouldn't complain. But I'm going to make sure it's full, and I'm going to see how many clicks it takes to run out. 40, and even 40, so I don't think it had any effect on that. 15 parsnips wasn't big enough sample size for me. Let's do 100 strawberries, being that strawberries are the most exciting and valuable of the spring crops. As long as you forget about ancient fruit, that is. Many hours of hard work later, are we going to get 100 gold quality? I suspect we probably are. We actually didn't. We got 99 gold quality and 2 regular. I'm pretty surprised about that. I thought we were way beyond the point where anything else could even possibly show up. Also, we got 101 strawberries out of 100 strawberry plants. But the value of that adorable little crop, just under 20,000 gold, because gold quality. Alright, so which skills do we want to break next? In case you're wondering, I accidentally hit the button a few times, so we're up to 102 farming. Let's try foraging. It's the other one people normally use a lot of early game. We are going to have to make a decision, forester or gatherer. Gatherer would lead us to the level 10 perk where every item we find is going to be iridium quality. That shouldn't matter as much because with level 100 foraging, we're going to find lots of gold quality anyway. Let's try the lumberjack thing for once. Please now have a chance to drop hardwood. And there we have it. Let's see what this is going to do. I haven't even left my farm yet, so the world should be full of forageables. Gold quality to gold quality. I don't believe we can hit iridium quality without the perk, but at this point everything we find should be gold quality. If the strawberries were any indication, everything at the beach has yielded gold quality results, including the coral on this side. I am working with natural luck today, so I'm not even sure what I have, but I am doing pretty well on the forageables. I'm going to do the entire map and see what it's worth. And that includes the secret woods. Gathered everything I could possibly find around everywhere. This is what it looks like. All gold quality. Not a ton of stuff, but enough that we're gonna make some money. The foraging skill, I suspect, isn't really gonna do a lot beyond level 10. I'm pretty sure cutting down trees at this point will regenerate energy, however. Level 6 foraging, I kinda doubt that. But that's not bad. 2,184 gold for foraging everything on the map. That was more than the parsnips are worth. But look at all this wood we have on the farm. Our wood is worth 50% more, and these trees can give us hardwood. So I'm going to make every piece of wood on his farm disappear into that shipping bin, and we're going to find the value of it. And yes, swinging my axe at this point does restore energy. But also, there's no way I'm going to cut down every single tree on my farm with an axe. I'm going to use bombs to blow everything up. I'll do the stumps with an axe afterwards. All the regular trees are currently down, gathering up the last little bits of stuff that are all over the map. Not going to break the rocks because they don't matter right now. So far, all of the wood is about 1,660 with 72 hardwood. All I'm going to do now is break the rest of these stumps. I do have one hit break on for this because I don't want to take forever. The absolute total of all the wood on my field after 6 days, 158 hardwood and that much wood. Not going to sell anything else because I don't care about the value of anything else. 8,465, worth more than the foraging and the crops combined. Fishing is one I am really excited to try. I think it's going to get pretty easy after this. I guess that means we'd better go and see Willy and get us a fishing rod. We're also going to do that on a sunny day because rain. Thanks Willy, I'll take it from here. Keep in mind this is using the very basic rod. We can cast very far with it. I have no idea what's going to happen. I need to actually catch the fish though, so that's going to be part of it. There we go, fish on. I think the fishing bar is an adequate size. If I don't catch this one, something's going to be wrong. And look at that, it's gold quality. Who'd have thought? Even if I try and reel, it doesn't do anything. The fishing bar just can't move because it's already glitched out because it's enormous. I wonder if that means we're also going to catch regular quality fish here or if we're going to catch gold quality fish. I think it should give us gold quality fish pretty much anywhere we fish. One herring, silver quality. Okay, so your fishing skill doesn't necessarily guarantee you high quality fish. It's going to be the area that you fish. Normally, the farther away from shore you cast, the higher quality. Well, I know one particular fish that I normally hate to catch under regular circumstances. Okay, got it. 8:10 a.m. The legend fish shows up. I think I'm pretty confident in this one. Should be gold quality too. The hardest fish in the game to catch, caught. Now for the exciting rest of my day. Oddly enough, this just happened. Legend fish. Well, guess we're getting 2 today. See how many more of those we're gonna get. The fish for the day looks something like this, a full 15 legend, 24 largemouth, and assorted other lesser fish. The value of those is going to be pretty high. I think fishing is going to be your best bet for making money, should you have level 100 skills. The total of which is actually 176,000 gold, probably mostly in those legend fish. Yeah, so if you somehow manage to catch 15 legend fish in a single day, all gold quality, you're going to get 170,000 gold for them. But good luck doing that, especially on a basic rod. Mining is interesting because it's actually going to be the most boring of all the skills. Because basically all it does is add pickaxe proficiency. I don't think it's going to make any difference aside from that. Though according to what I'm reading, the chance for gem nodes to appear is very small, but slightly increased by mining skill level and daily luck, so we might actually find a whole bunch of nodes. Already on level 1, we found a Mystic Stone, which I've never ever seen here before because your odds of finding that is really low. So already on the first floor, we have an Amethyst, and that also gave us a ladder. Level 2 doesn't seem to have anything too out of place. It's worth noting once again that every time I swing my pickaxe, I regain energy. Floor 9, and we're not really seeing a crazy amount of gems, though we do have 7 amethysts so far. That's almost 1 per floor, so that's definitely higher than normal, but not the crazy amount you'd expect for level 100. Even these lower levels where gems are a little bit more likely to occur are still yielding nothing of excitement. The first diamond node I've encountered was all the way at 96. I guess it's still like I suspected, mining just boring. Slightly better chance of finding gem nodes, but it might be a very slight chance. So that leaves us with one skill left to mess with, combat. Basically every level in combat beyond level 10 is going to give us plus 5 to health, so we're just going to end up with a whole bunch of health. We're going to lean towards critical hits, because every one of them is going to be deadly. And there we have it, level 100 combat, so we should have an extra about 500 health. And to try and make mining a little more exciting, I've done this. If level 1000 won't do it, nothing will. Alright, well since we're in the neighborhood, let's try Skull Cavern, the only real place to test out combat. I wonder how big my health bar is going to be. Not very big. I should have more health than that. I guess it actually limits me. But right away, I can't help but notice we have 2 Mystic Stones. 1 Topaz and 1 Ruby. Our first combatant. Not much damage going on, but if I do land a critical hit, it should kill it. Other than that, it's going to take a long time to kill this thing. Though it didn't really seem to hurt me there. I wonder if I actually gain health now from being hit because my combat skill is so high. Nope, I was wrong. I just had infinite health on, so I'm going to die. Wait, what just happened there? It did something weird. Apparently, boosting the combat skill doesn't really do anything at all. I just thought like some of the other skills, the level was so high that it might reverse the effect. That way instead of taking damage, I would earn health, but that doesn't seem to be the case. But I am curious, I do want to try that again. I've got infinite health on this time, that way I can't die because that's annoying. I just kind of noticed that every time I was breaking a rock, I was finding all sorts of stuff. I found a ton of geodes and I'm finding gold in almost every rock I'm breaking now. So it looks like the mining skill does increase the chance of geodes and gold ore, things like that by a very marginal amount. It's all the way up to level 1000 and I'm finally finding stuff. Which probably still isn't worth the effort because I did have to press that button 1000 times to get us here. But one small floor on the mines on level 1 gave us 10 Omni Geodes. The next floor is on pace to give us a whole bunch more. Also a diamond node. I'm just going to use the bombs to clear the floor just to see exactly what we're going to get. Up to 26 Omni Geodes. So I'd say if you're going to boost mining, it would only be worth it for the fact that you can get extra geodes. We're getting so many now that you would just make a fortune. The geodes by themselves aren't worth anything, but if you get them processed, you can find quite a bit of good stuff in there. Well, that's that. Combat doesn't do anything. Mining does, but you gotta get it way up. Ever wonder what it's like to play with level 1000 luck? Today we're gonna find out. Normally, your natural luck doesn't vary a whole lot. There are 6 levels of luck the game can assign to you on any random day. For example, today is the maximum luck. So it would be a great day for things like mining, where ladders are a lot easier to find, or fishing, where we're going to find a lot of extra treasure chests. And of course, there's a few other ways to boost your luck. Lucky Lunch will give you a +3 to luck for a short while. On top of that, you can have the special charm, which gives you another permanent boost. But that's not good enough for me, not anymore. I now have the ability to control my own luck. Current luck level 7, luck increased. I don't know where I got 7 from, but we're at 7. We're at 11. 15. We're going up in increments of 4. I don't know why, but we are. So this is going to make this whole thing a lot easier, because I wasn't really in the mood for pressing this button 1,000 times. 999 and 1003. That's good enough for me. Now the first thing I want to see is if George's legs are working yet. Nope. I was maybe being a little bit overly optimistic on that one. The first thing I want to try is fishing. Let's see how many treasure chests we find. In theory, we should have so much luck that we just get like everything ever, and I'm really excited to see that. Not sure if my luck is going to stay day to day. It was a little curious where it started at. 1 iridium rod with wild bait later, we should catch a lot more fish. We have a treasure chest. I guess the problem is my fishing skill is so low that I'm not catching a lot of fish very quickly. I need to fix this. I know luck has an effect on what can spawn in the treasure chest too, so 8 pieces of coal. Not the most exciting, but there are 8 of them. Fishing is up to level 10. Now we should be catching fish very quickly. Right away, we got a bite, like right away. Fishing bar is nice and big. Treasure chest. I'd be very surprised if we didn't get a treasure chest at any point, so let's just see what these give us. 20 gold ore, and 1 piece of bait. Large quantities. 1 dressed spinner. Only 1 of them, but that is a pretty rare find and pretty valuable in itself. 6 magma geodes. 12 gold ores and 2 coals. It seems to want to give us a lot of gold and coal. But so far, I think we're 5 for 5 for getting a chest while fishing. And 12 copper ores. So luck has an effect definitely on how many of the ores you find, and also very simply how many treasure chests you find. Also the amount of wood from trees. So let's see what this is going to give us. Some crazy amount? 23 wood. That is actually a very high amount considering the tree. I don't think you'd ever normally get that much wood out of a single tree. It's not crazy higher, but it's definitely more. 23 wood. Mining should be interesting. We should get a lot of coal from the rocks, also a lot of ladders, and a lot of geodes, all of which are affected by luck. Yep, so far lots. I was expecting more ladders to be honest, and also more gems to appear, but so far on the first 2 floors I hit a ladder straight away. That seems to be a recurring thing. Maybe the first rock you break always has a higher chance of spawning a ladder, because that's what I'm seeing here. Yep, ladder. Ladder. Treasure chest. But like clockwork, the first rock I break on every floor, it gives me a ladder, so that's pretty handy. Too bad you can't get this kind of luck in a regular game. We'll dive a little bit more into mining shortly. There's a few other things I want to play with before it gets dark. We have a higher chance of getting items from garbage cans instead of trash. I think these probably spawned in before I changed my luck today in the morning. So for right now, I might not find anything at all. So let's skip to tomorrow when everything can spawn in at maximum luck. In fact, we're going to do that on Sunday because I don't know if forageables have an effect, but we're going to find out. Before we do that, let's just throw everything in the bin to see what kind of money we made on such an easy day. So for a few hours of running around on the luckiest day anyone's ever had in Stardew Valley, about 4,000 gold. The luck has stayed with me. One thing I just discovered is the reason we were going up in increments of 4 is because I had the lucky lunch, so it was giving us +3, +1 every time I hit that button. Okay, I'm curious to see what kind of forageables we have out in the world. So far, I'm going to say luck doesn't have a great effect on the forageables that spawn. The garbage cans, however, should be full of treasures, and this I want to see. Garbage can 1? Nothing. Garbage can 2? Also nothing. Mayor Lewis? Nothing. This is actually pretty lucky in all the wrong ways. None of these garbage cans have given me anything at all. Even the beach doesn't have a lot of forageables, so I just don't think luck has an effect on the forageables at all. But since we're here, let's get another treasure chest, which gives us 24 stones. Again, not the most useful or exciting of items, but a high quantity of them. Fish number 2. 1 bait. After reading up a little bit on the garbage cans, it says you get an increased chance of getting an item that is not trash. So you don't have a better chance of finding an item, you just have a better chance of it not being trash should you find one. So the chance of actually finding anything wasn't really increased. Here's an interesting slime, one with a star over its head. You rarely see these, they are extra strong, but they always give you good items when you kill them. What's today's going to give us? A wood mallet. Well, I suppose all things considered that's a pretty lucky find, just not overly useful. Just about at the bottom of the mines, just trying to get to Skull Cavern, but I've seen diamond nodes on the last 3 floors. This one is right here. And I did find the mushroom floor on floor 119 of all the floors, but it doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary compared to the normal ones. It's actually going to be hard to navigate around because I always find a ladder when I break rocks now. Looks like a crazy amount of luck, doesn't really have a great effect on the mushroom floor. One thing I do want to do at this point is go to a random floor in the mines, say floor 81, which people will commonly go to, and just blow up everything here, and also admire everything we have. As we have maximum luck, so we should get a ton of stones, a ton of gold, and a ton of coal, and whatever else happens to show up. 32 gold just on 1 floor, 2 magma geodes so far, plus all the stones, some more iron ore up here, of course a ladder that was going to show up somewhere. So from 1 tiny floor, 4 wood, 44 stones, 32 gold, 4 magma geodes, 5 fibers, 7 iron, and 1 coal. Imagine if every floor in the mines was like that every single day. You'll get a ridiculous amount of items. Lots of mushrooms. This seems like another mushroom floor, but I'm not really sure if it is because the lights on the wall haven't changed colors, but there are 6 mushrooms. We know that the mushroom floor is on floor 119 also. It can be on multiple floors in a day. Here we have a rare black invisible slime with a star on its head. What's this one going to give us? It's a very tough slime. Just a lead rod, but it was very hard to kill. Next, we'll take a look at Skull Cavern, where luck is really going to have an effect on how much iridium and other valuable stuff we find. Today we have a luck of a modest 1205 now, so this should be good. Anyone want to take bets on how much iridium we're going to find? Also, prismatic shards are probably going to show up quite a bit. So far, not a lot, mostly just rocks. But this is only the first level, and I think we're going to find quite a few geodes. My mining skill is only level 10, so it's nothing outrageous. Strange doll already, 6 omni geodes, 34 stones. I think we're probably going to find just a larger quantity of everything. We may not find anything rare, but anything we do find is going to be in massive quantities. There's a rusty cog, 6 gold ore, 5 omni geodes, 2 magma geodes, so definitely lots of geodes. Honestly, I thought with this much luck I would find ladders in basically every rock I broke. I was kind of concerned that it would be ladders instead of useful items. There's a shaft. Does luck have an effect on shafts? How far down do we get to go? 3 levels. I would say luck does not have an effect on these, because if it did, that would absolutely be 15 levels. Our second shaft is showing up on floor 7. We still haven't found any iridium that I've noticed, which is honestly pretty surprising. I thought with this much luck there would be a lot of it. We did find a treasure floor, and luck definitely does have an effect on finding treasure floors. Level 13 also has a treasure floor, so we found it back to back with 15 cherry bombs. This can happen in the game, and let's blow up everything on the floor to see what happens. It's rare that you find them back to back, but it can happen. Well, mostly just another ladder. And another treasure floor. Okay, I know the treasure floors can spawn from floors 10 down, so I think the luck is basically going to turn every floor into a treasure floor at this point. I did have the mod before to make this happen, but it's long gone, so yeah, with this much luck, it's all these treasure floors. Which could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. You definitely won't find a lot of iridium doing it this way because all you find is items like this. Purple slime egg is pretty valuable, but it's not iridium. 5 mega bombs, always a favorite. But I guess having this much luck essentially ruins Skull Cavern. All you're going to find are treasure floors. You can get a massive amount of depth by doing so, but not a lot of iridium, less geodes. Maybe we'll find one of the very rare desert artifacts. Or a book. Books are exciting too. Apparently, luck has an effect on the slots at the casino. So let's buy some coins and see if we're a winner today. If luck truly does have an effect on this, we should be a winner pretty much every single time. So far so good. I want to see a big window. The milk is only 4th from the top. I want to see something near the bottom. Well, we're working our way down. There's 8,000 coins. Maybe we'll get shells this time. Diamond. 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 Look at that. We just won ourselves 100,000 key coins. So luck definitely has an effect on the slots. There's 3 cherries. Times 500. Not as good as the diamonds, but still rare. I've never seen that before. Every spin so far has been a winner, and I've done probably 25, maybe 30 spins. I just really want to find the stardrops. Here's the diamonds again, the second best on the list. This just goes to show you exactly how rare the stardrops actually are. If I'm having trouble getting them now, good luck getting it in the real game. I think we got it. Yep, there it is. Finally, 250,000 key coins just like that. That took me probably 70 to 100 spins. I was honestly starting to think it couldn't actually happen. But it took me that many spins with this crazy amount of luck. So if you think you're going to get that in the real game, you're not. As we learned yesterday, some varieties of seeds have a chance to give you extra crops when they're ready to go. But we're going to do that in spring since it's the end of fall anyway. We're going to go with 100 strawberry seeds and 100 coffee beans. Each of these has a chance to give you extra crops when they're ready to go. I have my crazy amount of luck still. I also have farming level 11 now, but I do also have a crazy amount of luck. So let's see just how much of a factor this is. Not going to fertilize anything because I don't care about the quality, I care about the quantity. And that looks something like that. We're going to do this all in the same day because it's not going to matter. My luck's the same today as it is tomorrow. The luck simply matters at the point of harvest. Strawberries are going to be easy to keep track of because they normally only give you 1 when you pick them. So if we get anything more than 100, we know luck has an effect. I haven't actually added up the numbers yet, but I suspect we got more than 100. We're sitting at about 200 strawberries approximately, so we've essentially doubled our numbers. We're going to throw these in the bin before we get to our coffee beans. Every single coffee plant will drop 4 beans with a small chance to drop an extra. With 100, we should get 400. Anything after that is the extra. The total coffee beans looks to be just over 700. So we didn't quite double the number of crops, but I'd say we still got pretty lucky considering. The value of which totals just under 40,000 gold, 28,000 for the strawberries, 11,000 for the coffee. So as you can tell, luck has an effect on many things.